to our special Halloween episode. Trick or treat.
Why don't we start with the results of the Halloween compo? Who is the winner?
In Super Spooky Haunted House Duck Fight, you start out playing as a kid who is just annoying his neighbors by trick-or-treating at a very late hour. All is good with our hero until his candy bag gets stolen by an angry duck. Before your candy even gets stolen, the game starts out by you fooling around by ringing the doorbells and trying to get candy, which is a nice touch. The game has a spooky mood to it, and in the beginning does draw you in, awaiting what horrible thing will happen. The graphics are a bit simple overall, but it's more of a stylish choice, and it does not distract from the overall game. The main problem with the game is that it's just too short. Once your candy gets stolen, you move to the forest where right away you have to fight the duck that stole your candy. When you defeat him, the game is over. It would have been cool to fight off some ghosts in the forest, maybe check out the cemetery in search of your candy before you would get to the duck. Overall, a fun spooky little game that I would still check out, it's just a bit too short. 70%. In To Darken My World, you actually have to take out the light and create darkness. This alone brings up some cool gameplay elements. In the game you have to find and shoot out these light posts. Once you destroyed all the light posts, the level itself actually becomes dark, which makes sense, but it was a nice surprise. So once everything is dark, you just need to find some lighted dots to continue on to the next level. The game gets harder as you continue on, and the main character you play looks pretty cool. It's a shame that he does not have some sort of animation though. The gameplay itself can be a bit uneven, and sometimes you jump into certain death because of the spikes. When you take the time and learn how to play this game, To Darken My World is actually a good game that just needs some better level design here and there. Other than that, total score 75%. In Quarantine, created by Aiden, you have to fight off zombies while earning cash, so you can buy even bigger weapons to quickly kill even more zombies. It's a cool system and it works. The game has a cool tutorial that explains how you can buy weapons and such, and the control system is pretty simple, but can be glitchy at times. The game has a create weapon system where you can fire with your mouse, and your hero's arms moves perfectly where you want him to shoot. The game adds some great little bits into the mix. Not only do you just shoot zombies, but there are even some small puzzles to solve, and you're even thrown into a back of a truck. The graphics could be a bit more fleshed out, and there's only one type of zombie to kill. There is a huge amount of content to explore here, and the sound effects are easy on the ear. The only thing that bothers me is that there's no musical score to keep the adrenaline pumping. Overall, a solid zombie killing game experience that gives you a bit extra when you least expect it. Total score 79%. eats a magic mushroom and is thrown into an alien world with all sorts of crazy stuff. I had a great time playing this action shooter actually. The graphics fit the game just fine and it's great fun blasting at aliens and other scary nasties. The great thing about this game is that it continues to give you new enemies and new weapons as you get further in the game, and I love that. The controls were very easy and big thumbs up for the music and sound effects. Very well picked and they fitted perfectly with this type of game. My only gripe is that once you hit an enemy, you die instantly. It would be better to lose a life and continue on. The game is a bit unforgiving that way, even more so later in the game. Also, and I hope this game will get more updates, is to include more levels with bosses, which would really make this game an instant classic shooter in my opinion. Who does not want to control Pac-Man while kicking some major alien ass? I was very impressed with this action game, very well made, and some of the weapons made me laugh. Total overall score, 85%.
Hello? Hello? Is anyone there?
In this game you fall into a dark hole. When you wake up, you are surrounded by an increasing darkness and strange noises. Now, it's up to you and your trusty lantern to kill the creepy monsters and very creepy ghost girls once and for all. Now, I have to applaud Klebo for actually making me jump out of my seat. Somewhere in the game, some creepy images pop up while you are playing, and it ups the creepiness factor by 100%. Well done, sir. The graphics are well done, and I loved killing the bad guys with my lantern. Also, the music and sound effects really helped create a scary mood that I just loved. What would make this game even better would have been an online high score system so I could compete with other adventurers out there. Also, what would have been nice is if different sections of the cemetery would open up the longer you played. However, the game does get increasingly harder and it also gets darker with plenty of different enemies to defeat. This is a Halloween game not to be missed. Well done. Total overall score, 87%. When you start up the game, you are literally thrown into what seems to be a huge battle against the zombies. You start off alone in the snow, and your first order of business is to find a human camp and a computer inside it. Using the computer, you can buy some weapons, health, and all sorts of goodies, which you will need, because once it gets dark, all hell breaks loose. The vibe of the game reminds me a lot of the Silent Hill series. Very eerie, and while you are walking around, you just know something bad is going to happen. I love these type of games, and I wish more of them would be made. You can take advantage of the daytime to pile up on food. You need to keep eating since you will die if you don't. The graphics, while a bit tiny, do the trick just fine and add to the style of it. The sound effects are really well made too, with the wind blowing in your ears during the day, and once it gets dark, the music really turns scary, upping the mood. When you first play it, the game can be hard, and soon you find yourself dying quickly if you have not bought any guns. I also think for future versions that you can be assigned missions for money, so you have an objective to keep you busy. Since right now, I get the feeling I just had to kill as many zombies as I can during the night. Having an objective to complete would have made it more suspenseful and fun during the night. Other than that, there's a huge potential with the survival game, and I hope Philip will keep working on this giant world he has successfully created. As it is now, there's still lots of work to be done, but you will still enjoy the ride with this version. Total score, 89%. Silhouette is an interesting game. It reminded me a bit of the old Prince of Persia games, but also the Another World game. The special thing about this game is that the animation is fluent. You can run, jump, duck, and find all of this goes seamlessly. In the game you have to try and progress while using your knife, and sometimes even to kill a werewolf. While the graphics and engine of this game are amazing, the game is incredibly hard. I think I died a million times before figuring out what to do next, and I don't know if everyone has as much patience as I do. There are hints scattered in the playfield on what to do next, but often they are too small to notice. The music and sound effects draw you in perfectly into this creepy world, and the game has a great original vibe to it. I do wish there were more enemies, instead of you wandering and jumping for 5 to 10 minutes before your first werewolf appears. And maybe things a bit easier when you start. The game has lots of potential, and I can't wait to see this game explored further. 90%. And here's the winner, folks. Slasher Boy. From the first menu screen, you know this game will be something bloody special. In the game you are a slasher boy, and you are the world's only hope of getting rid of some strange, freaky ghosts. The graphics in the game stand out and are very well done. From Slasher Boy's animations to the background and blood effects, lots of work went into these. You can slash the ghost or use them as a bouncing board, but if you bounce wrong, you soon found yourself in a ditch. The game is very hard and you will die often and hard. You do go back to a checkpoint that is not too far away once you lose a life, but it can be frustrating at times. If you keep at it, you will be rewarded at the end of the game with a very cool boss fight. While the graphics and gameplay draw you into the game, the sound effects almost draw you right back out. It also does not help the game does not have any music. This is a bit of a letdown. Some scary music and sound effects would have completed the package a bit more. As it is now, this is a great slasher action game that, while being hard, rewards you if you stick with it. 92%.
Hope you enjoyed this episode. Until next time.